I grew up in this town. I went to school in this town, and it's a very racially divided town. I have a lot of friends who travel, who've come to visit me on Carry the Kettle, who I've met all over the place. And every time they come through here, they always say, shit, your people should do something about that Indian head. It's so offensive.
We're in Indian Head, Saskatchewan, where their massive object is this. Built in the 80s, this statue of a chief's head makes for some pretty controversial public art. We're meeting with TJ and Tim Haywahi from Carry the Kettle First Nation nearby to get their perspective on whether or not this object fits in today.
How do you both feel about this monument just outside of Carry the Kettle?
When I first seen it as a kid, I was like, it looks like Sydney Bull. Because that's what I was taught. That was my experience. But then when I started attending school here, they're saying, hey, you Nietzsche. And they would tell all these derogatory comments to me. And half of them I didn't even know. For me personally, when I see this Indian head, I do get offended.
Made in 1984, the statue was conceived by a group of local businessmen in order to create a tourist attraction along the highway. This was the result. A 3,500-pound bust of a chief constructed in Saskatoon and transported to its current location in Indian Head in 1985. But who is this supposed to be? The answer, nobody. Based on an image of a stereotypical Indigenous chief, it wasn't created in honor of any particular person.
So this town seeking a name, they found a skull first of all. And they thought that skull was one of our people. So they asked our people on Carry the Kettle, on Shagakin, if they could call this town Indian Head because of the skull that they found, making that track. So our people agreed on the agreement that they would give us a piece of land on the outside of town. So when our people came into town to shop or to visit, that they would have a place to stay. But over time, they never gave us that land. They actually took the land back. So I always tell these guys in town here, I'm coming for that land.
My dad always says, we live in two worlds. We have our First Nation world, which is everywhere. It's always around us. Then we have the Western world, which is also around us. But it's just like when we come home, even though we go to a colonized piece of land, 7 by 9 kilometers that the government placed us on, to us, that still feels like we're safe because all our people are there. The people don't even understand their own history in this town. For these past little while, we've been engaging lots into this town. We've been helping with their own histories and rectifying and giving them the truth history.
I took the time to look at myself and find out who I am and know who I am. And then I made a change in my life. I decided that I wasn't going to let that racism bother me anymore. I decided that I'm going to live for me and nobody else.
Ever since he left the reserve and started engaging in that Western world, he always said, always remember who you are. Remember your identity. Remember what we taught you. Because that is the legacy that you're going to carry. You're going to pass on. Our people aren't weak. We've survived for generations. We've been here before the Wasichu came. We'll be here after when they leave, I said. So at the end of the day, it comes down to here. It's all about here. So if you can't make a change here, then there's not going to be no change made.
24 kilometers outside of Indian Head is the Tacosia teepee camp. For 20 years, Tim has helped create an understanding of First Nations tradition and history as it was passed down to him from generation to generation. The camp he runs is open to everyone, whether you're wanting to learn, to experience, or even to heal. My time at the camp, while short, wasn't one I'll forget.
You're hired.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear.
Walk it up, just walk it up.
Just walk, reach your hands.
Yeah, walk it towards me. I'm going to pull it up straight. Okay. And we'll stop there, stop. Today, it's amazing that our way of life is coming dominant. We get so many people coming to us all the time and asking about our traditions, our culture, and understanding our spirituality. So I find it amazing that the world is starting to turn now. It's starting to turn and to recognize our people for who we are, what we carry, our spirituality.
Neat.
My name is Tacosia Mani Waka. Kevin Hewihi of the Kettle Nakota First Nation. And this is of the regalia of the northern traditional part of our people in the plains to showcase our culture of our song and dance and share it with the world. When I put my regalia, my face paint on, takes me back to the stories of our late father. His name was Giniha, Wahikna, fierce lightning. So in that respect to our father, we wear this paint. When I put this on, it's like I transform or something different happens.
What would you like to see happen in the future, both with the name, but with that monument? What would you like to see?
Maybe put some more paint on that, Chief.
Just kidding. So when it comes to that statue, I hope in working with this next generation of students these past few years at the elementary and the high school, that these students are taking this education home and they're starting to talk to their parents. They're starting to share with their parents. And their parents, they grew up from a different perspective, so they were taught that how to be racist. They were taught how to criticize, how to judge. But this next generation, working with my dad, my uncle, and my kona here to ensure that this next generation of the people that are coming up, whether they're brown, white, black, yellow, orange, green, that we understand we're still the people at the end of the day. So when it comes to that name or the thing, as long as the people have their voice, that's where it comes from. It's the people.
Whether they keep it or whether they change it, I'm okay with it. You know, whatever they decide as a people, as long as it's the people that decide that, you know. In our language, when we talked that first circle, I said, Mitakuye Oyasin at the end. We're all related.
Art is subjective, always. Like TJ said, everyone is going to have a different opinion on an object like this based on their own lived experience. I do know that there's no better time than now to ask difficult questions and share these stories.
So, if you're an Indian head and stop to take a photo with the chief head, why not drive to the Tacosia teepee camp and dig a bit deeper into the Nakota culture?